So we want to list out 4 sets of choices. I mean, there's an infinite number of options, but I'm just going to try and get you guys to come up with a few. A times B would equal 0. Can you give me 2 numbers that A and B could be so that A times B will equal 0?
0 and 1.
0 and 1. Okay, 5 and 0 is another option. What else have we got? 3 and 0. I'm just looking for one more. 12 and 0. So what do you notice?
0 and 0.
But one of them has to be 0 if you want to multiply and end up with 0. It seems like you guys all knew that from instinct, so that's good. All right, now let's use this equation. Do you see how it's factored? Your 2 parentheses there? It's already factored for you. If x equals 5, what does y equal? Well, we're just going to take 5 and plug it in. All right, we can do this without a calculator. 5 minus 3. Maybe we need a calculator. Do you need a calculator for 5 minus 3? That's 2. All right, and then plug 5 in here. 5 plus 2. 7. Good job. And then multiply those while I end this pass here. Multiply them. 14 is your answer. Very good job. We just started the notes, so you didn't really miss anything. I put it right there for you, okay? All right, so 14. So let's try B. If x equals 0, what does y equal? Now let's plug in 0. You ready? 0 minus 3. Go ahead. Oh, I'm so sorry. If x is 0, we're going to plug in 0 right here. 0 minus 3. What is that going to give us? Close. Negative 3. Good job. And then if you put in 0 here, 0 plus 2.
0, 2.
2. And then you're going to multiply those together. Thank you. There we go. Now we're going to plug in 3. We're just practicing plugging in different numbers. So let's plug in 3. 3 minus 3. 0. And then 3 plus 2 is 5, but it kind of doesn't even matter what that number is, because if you multiply by 0, and this is kind of the whole point of what I'm getting at, you end up with 0. That's sort of the point of this lesson, okay? What is another value of x that would make y equal 0? We made x be 3 and we got 0. Look at this and use your brain. What's another number that x could equal where you would end up with this whole thing equaling 0? When x was 3, we plugged it in, we got 0. What's another number that you could plug in and you'll end up getting 0? Good. How'd you get negative 2? Because that is completely correct. Listen, this is the entire point of the lesson. Why is it negative 2? Anybody? Why is it negative 2? I didn't mean to put you on the spot. It's just you're the only one that said the right answer. Gives you 0. Good job. Hey, do you mind? Why did 3 give us 0? That question's for anybody, and you're going to have to look up here if you want to see what's going on. Thank you. Because 3 minus 3 is 0. Why would negative 2 give you 0? Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Good job. So here's your 0 product property. If a product is 0, one or both factors is 0. Because if you multiply by 0, you get 0. It's really not that complicated, guys. So we're going to try a couple of them right here. 3, 4, 5, and 6. What values of x would make this 0? There's 2 answers. You're going to take the first factor, that x plus 7, set it equal to 0. And you're going to take the other factor, x minus 1, and set it equal to 0. And then figure out what those are. So what would this one be? Good. Negative 7 is one of them. And positive 1. Good job. Don't talk over me. Same thing with this one. You've got x is one of your factors. If you want to give it a hug, you can to make the x not feel sad out there. And then you've got x minus 4. So you're going to set both of those factors equal to 0 and get your two answers. So the first one is literally just 0, all right? What would the second one be? Yeah, 4, positive 4, good job. Try it again. This is really all it is. Here's your two factors. You're gonna take them both and set them equal to 0. So you get 2x plus 3 equals 0, 4x minus 11 equals 0. Now, up till now, we were kind of doing it in our head. This is gonna involve 2 steps instead of 1 step, so I'm gonna write it out. What would you do to start solving this one? Minus 3, good job. So you'd get 2x equals negative 3. And then what's your last step? Yeah, divide by 2, good job. So negative 3 over 2. When it's 2 steps, typically you end up with a fraction. All right, how about this one? 2 steps, what would you do first? Yeah, plus 11. Divide by 4, so 11 fourths. So you just take the two factors, set them equal to 0. Let's try this one, last one of these. If you want to give that 4x a hug, put parentheses around it. If that helps you understand it better, then put parentheses around it. You're going to take the two factors and set them equal to 0. So for this one, you would divide by 4, but what's 0 divided by 4? Or 0 divided by anything, really, is going to be 0, so you just get 0. And then what would this one give you? 9, perfect. It's not that hard. 0 is a very easy number to work with. Of all the numbers, 0 is an easy one to work with, okay? Now let's see how this goes, putting it all together. Try, all I'm looking for is an effort, that's it, all right? I might only do one on this page and then one on the next page just for the sake of time here because we had to do that benchmark. All right, so do you notice how this is your trinomial? All right, we're gonna factor it. So draw your X box. What number goes on the top? Negative 8, good job. I saw you guys doing this on your benchmark. I looked at your whiteboards, you all had X's on there, so I could tell you were trying. 2 goes on the bottom. Don't worry that it's negative. Don't even worry about the 2. Can we stop doodling and take the notes? Thanks. 2 and 4, good job. Now go back and something has to be negative. Good, 4 minus 2 is 2. So when you draw your two parentheses, you're gonna get X minus 2 and X plus 4, good job. So all the ones on the other side of the paper were factored for you. We just had to do that one ourselves. Now you're gonna solve it. What's that? Oh, okay. You all right? Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say it looked like you hurt yourself there. All right, so now we're gonna solve them. We're gonna take each of those factors and set them equal to 0. You get two answers. X equals 2, good job. And negative 4, good job. Now I am gonna reach for the calculator to type this in. Let me just make sure I'm on the right screen here, which I'm not. And this is what you need to understand. Do you see how this is 2 and this is negative 4? On your x-axis, there's going to be a point at 2 and at negative 4 because it's 2, 0 and negative 4, 0. Do you understand 0? Like that's what happened there. We set it equal to 0. So I am going to just go and type the thing in the calculator. That's what you need to understand is that's where your x-intercepts are going to be. So what was this? X squared plus 2x minus 8. Are y'all looking? Up until now, we've done lines. Now it's a U shape. U shape is called a parabola. I know you haven't heard that word before. That's new. Parabola. It sounds like a disease. All right. But it's a U shape. The function is called a quadratic. So it's quadratic, but the shape is a parabola. You see how we have the points there at 2 and negative 4? Okay. The other important points we need to get are the center point. It's called a vertex. Have you heard the word vertex ever before in life? Like just come across that word? Means center. All right. So you're going to plot a point right there at negative 1, negative 9. Can you all do that for me? Negative 1, negative 9. And then the other important point is your y-intercept, which is 0, negative 8. You can certainly plot more points if you want, but as long as you have those, you're good. You need your X and Y intercepts, your vertex, and then you can go ahead and connect it. So it should look like this. Mine doesn't look real awesome. Not grading your art skills. Now we're going to write out those x-intercepts, and they're also called zeros because it's something zero. So -4, 0, and 2, 0. If you feel like we're repeating ourselves a lot, it's because we are. Just kind of nice. All the answers are basically the same. And then what was our y-intercept? Yeah, 0, -8. Good job. I'm going to leave this one for the sake of time. We're going to do the one on the next page. We're going to repeat that process. We're just going to try it again. I think I finally got you guys all listening to me, so we're going to keep going here. All right, so the first thing we got to do is factor it. Draw your X box. What do you notice about this one? You have to be a good noticer. There's a 2 in front of the x squared. What does that mean we're going to do? Good. 2 times -3 is -6. Good job, guys. -5 goes on the bottom. I need numbers that multiply to be 6. What have you got? Okay, you guys said them both. The one that's going to work is 6 and 1. Which one gets the negative to get a negative? Perfect. Good job, guys. Nice. And your benchmark scores were really good. Very nice job. I was really happy with them. All right, now you're going to take both of those numbers and put them over 2. So it's -6 over 2, 1 over 2. I just wrote it over here because that's where I have space. This first one's going to reduce to what? Good. And then that one doesn't reduce. So when you draw your 2 parentheses, start with the denominator. This would be 1x minus 3. Good job. And then the other one, plus 1. Perfect. Again, we're just repeating what we did on the other side of the paper with a new problem. We're just doing practice. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Does the top number always get the negative?
Yes. If there's a negative in there, it'll go with the top number. All right, now you're going to take both of those and set them equal to 0 and solve them. Solve for x. Now, the first one, you can hopefully kind of do that one in your head. That one's just going to give you what? 3. Good job. This one, I would work it out. It's going to be a fraction because you have 2 steps to do there. So what's the first step? Yeah, -1. And then divide by 2. Now, I am going to type this in the calculator. But again, the whole point of this lesson is zeros. That's like the point of the lesson, all right? So on your x-axis, you can put a point at 3 and -0.5, which would be like right about there. So again, we are going to use a calculator, but that's the thing you're supposed to learn. That's like the goal of the lesson is to get that. All right, so let me just type this in and we'll get some of the other important points, which would be the vertex and the y-intercept. This is going well. I just need you to focus for a bit longer, all right? So look, watch, I'll click on them. See how that's -0.5? They wrote it as a decimal. 3, here's your vertex. It's 1.25, so like 1 and a little bit. And then -6.125. So like, you know, get it as close as you can. It's about 1, -6, but like a little further. 1 and a little bit, and then -6 and a little bit. It's not perfect. Oh, you're going to be okay. And then what's your y-intercept? Just click on it. Yep, perfect. So plot that as well. This is nice because you can just click on the points and it'll show up for you. All right, so you're going to just connect those. It's a U shape. Again, it's called a parabola. The graph is called a quadratic, but the shape is a parabola. Like it's called, you know, lines are called linear. These are called quadratic, but the shape is called a parabola. Which again sounds like some sort of disease. So it isn't parabola, right? And then we're going to write out our intercepts. So it's -0.5, 0, 3, 0. And then what was your y-intercept? Yep, 0, -3. Now we're going to try and pull all that together, and then I'll do one more on the back. want you to have time to finish your classwork. Now, you're going to have to watch me point to some stuff. This is going to be a what do you notice? It says, what do you notice about the solutions? Listen, and the x-intercepts. I'm going to point to them. These are your solutions. Do you see where my fingers are right here? And these are the x-intercepts. What do you notice about them? Good job. Same. That's really all I wanted. Oops, I can't spell same though. I wrote sane. Huh. And my hand just got a little loopy. All right, now what do you notice about the factors and the x-intercepts? I'm going to point to them. Look, here's your factors and here's your x-intercepts. They are opposite. Do you see that? See how they're opposite? Yes, go ahead. And they add up to 0. We'll put that on there too. I was looking for same and opposite, but that makes sense. They add up to 0. So now we're going to try and go backwards. It's not hard, but you have to pay attention. If your x-intercept is 5, the factor is going to be x what? Make sure you need it to equal 0. Oh my gosh, perfect. Because 5 minus 5 is 0. Let's try it again. If your x-intercept is -2, it's going to be x plus 2 because -2 plus 2 is 0. You're just looking for what adds to 0. All right, focus for me. And then last one, what do you notice about the standard form and the y-intercept? Just watch me point to it. What do you notice about this and then your y-intercept?
Longer.
What's the same?
-3.
The last number, right? All right, so the last number is the same. And that's always going to be the case. I just wanted you to know this. We're going to try one more where we're going to just kind of like do it backwards. Why don't you guys pick which one? Do you want to do the first one or the second one? Yeah, actually, the second one's a good choice because they give you the graph. It's always kind of nice when they give you the graph. So we're going to start with the graph and try to get all of the other stuff. So look at your x-intercepts. Can anyone give me one of them? We're going to get the x-intercepts. We'll fill that in here first. Good. -3, 0 and 2, 0. Good job. Now, when you go and write your solutions, those are the same. X equals -3, x equals 2. They're the same. Miss Cole, it's the same thing? Yep. That's it. Now, when you go to do the factors, that's where it's backwards. So draw your 2 blank parentheses. If you want the answer to be -3, good. So in that parenthesis, it's going to have to be, good, x plus 3. And then if you want the answer to be 2, x minus 2. Now, to get your standard form, like to go backwards again, this is your 2 by 2 window. You did this on your benchmark. You're going to multiply it all together to get the original problem. We're just doing this all backwards. It's all in reverse. So x squared, good job. This one will be -2x, or it depends on how you wrote it. It kind of doesn't matter what you put where. This one will be 3x, and then -2 times 3, -6. Perfect. And then if you've done everything like you're supposed to, the diagonals will go together. So it's x squared plus 1x. And here's the last thing you need to notice. Don't stop listening to me. And when I finish this, we're going to do our delta math. I made it this many questions. I was trying to make it super easy for you. Do you see how that's -6 right there? Look at your graph. Is your y-intercept at -6? See? And so this answer is 0, -6. I want you to make those connections, okay?